Hi, everybody. We're back.
Hello.
We're here for Hymns and Reflections. One of the things we're playing is not a hymn, it's a request. Jen, I hope you like it. It's coming later, but I went to high school with Jen.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So I saw the first and the last name, and I didn't put it together until I saw the middle name, which was her maiden name, which is how I knew her. But I should, her and her husband were dating all through high school, so I should have put that together. But it's okay.
So we did not have a chance to get to all the requests this week, but they will be coming.
Yes, yes. We're working with different hymnals, different faith traditions. The first song we're going to play is not in the Lutheran hymnal. This is actually, is it in your hymnal, honey?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right.
But the words will sound entirely different than what is in our hymnal.
Okay, really?
Aren't we doing?
We're doing.
Oh, we're doing hymn of promise. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was looking at another one. Hymn of promise is the same as in our hymnal.
Okay. Should I do it?
Yes.
All right. In the mold there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree, in cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the cold and snow of winter, there's a spring that waits to be unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. There's a song in every silence, seeking word and melody. There's a dawn in every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery, unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. In the end is our beginning, in our time infinity. In our doubt there is believing, in our life eternity. In our death a resurrection, at the last a victory. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see.
Okay.
Really pretty words.
It is. This hymn of promise, was actually written as an anthem in 1985. And
So in the hymn world, it's like a baby.
right,
1985.
yes. And it was written because the author was pondering the ideas of life and death, spring and winter, Good Friday and Easter, and the whole reawakening of a world that happens every spring.
Reawakening of a world. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're looking for that right now. We're looking for the reawakening of the world because it feels, I don't know, I think this week it hit me. Like every day just felt monotonous.
Yes.
And you expressed to me, and this is true, one of the things about what we do with our lives is that every day does feel different. Every day, we never have the same day. And this week, we really had the same day in a lot of ways, every day,
Mm-hmm.
Most of it trying to wrangle our kid.
True.
Yes.
But this hymn speaks, this sounds silly, I mean, it's called Hymn of Promise,
Mm-hmm.
but it speaks of the promise that even this is not going to be forever, because God brings hope.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
So in one sense, and some people have said to this to me, this Easter season, this Lent season, now coming into Holy Week, and then going into Easter, this is probably more like the first Easter than any other Easter before it, aside from the first Easter. Because we're dealing with darkness in front of us, and we're dealing with this brokenness around us too, And I don't know. What do you long for to get back to, honey?
What do I long to get back to?
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Life. I mean, it feels almost like everything has been put on hold and we're working triage.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're people of hope. And so the hope of the resurrection is the hope of a new world.
Yes.
The hope that when all of this is over, we look at our lives a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because Timmy is very confused, but he has not lost the hope of the future. Right. How many times a day does he say to us, when the virus is gone,
yes.
Can we
do this? Yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And most of it is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Today he said, when the virus is gone, can we go to Burger King?
Yeah. Yes, he did. All right. Want to do the next one?
Sure.
Okay. This is You Have Come Down to the Lake Shore.
This is the one that the words will sound very different than the ones you know from our hymnal.
They will.
If you are United Methodist.
If you're Lutheran, maybe you don't know it, but it's actually in the new hymnal. It's also in With One Voice. This is the version we have there. You have come down to the lake shore, seeking neither the wise nor the wealthy, but only asking for me to follow. Sweet Lord, you have looked into my eyes, kindly smiling, you've called out my name. On the sand I have abandoned my small boat, now with you I will seek other seas. You know full well what I have, Lord, neither treasure nor weapons for conquest, just my fish nets and will for working. Sweet Lord, you have looked into my eyes, kindly smiling, you've called out my name. On the sand I have abandoned my small boat, now with you I will seek other seas. You meet my hands, my exhaustion, working love for the rest of the weary, a love that's willing to go on loving. Sweet Lord, you have looked into my eyes, kindly smiling, you've called out my name. On the sand I have abandoned my small boat, now with you I will seek other seas. You who have fished other waters, hear the longing of souls that are yearning. Oh, loving friend, you have come to call me. Sweet Lord, you have looked into my eyes, kindly smiling, you've called out my name. On the sand I have abandoned my small boat, now with you I will seek other seas. this is also a baby in the hymn world.
Yes, it is. This, I'm looking for a date.
1979, I have as the copyright.
Yes, he wrote it, it looks like he wrote it in the late 60s. Oh, no. 79, you're right.
It's as old as me.
He was in school in the late 60s. This was written in Spanish and is based on the parallel passages found in the Synoptic Gospels. The Synoptic Gospels, of course, are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And he was trying to capture the total obedience of the disciples and their willingness to give everything up to follow Christ.
So come follow me, and they just leave. They just go with him, you know.
By your side, I will seek other seas.
I wonder if, by the way, by the time this is all over, we've reframed our priorities in such a way that maybe we're able to be a little closer to that.
Well, I think that life makes us sometimes abandon everything we've always known to do something different. It certainly has recently. Maybe not for our friends in the essential services industries or the healthcare industries who are going to work every day, but I think you'll find that especially the healthcare workers will tell you that it is different now than it has ever been before. And
many of them are going into situations where they know they're encountering this virus like head on. They're encountering people who have it, and yet they're still doing that because that's what they're called to do. Like they're putting their lives in danger for us. Now that's not the same as Christ, but it is a sacrificial lifestyle, absolutely, especially at this point. Yes.
And I think, well, I would hesitate to say that God has called us into this time. I would say that Jesus is by our side during this time.
Well, I mean, we see God in the response.
Yes, absolutely.
And in the response, God has called us to be there for each other.
Right.
God has called people to work to alleviate this problem. God has called people to treat people who are dealing with this infection. People are being called into service those ways. Absolutely. God is active in that, I believe,
And in a sense, God has called us to drop everything that we've known and to do something different, because this is our response to it.
So I shouldn't have spent so much time last week watching Tiger King?
That was entirely different.
Yes. I wasn't called to watch Tiger King, right? Speaking, someday I'll do a thought piece about that whole thing. If you haven't watched Tiger King, I think you should, but not if you're a kid. There we are. So, yeah.
That totally didn't have anything to do with this hymn.
Not at all. Yeah.
But one of the things that I think about is packing up everything in the world that I knew and leaving Pennsylvania for Ohio. And I did so because I was called. And I came back. But in some ways, my experiences and the people that I met while I was in seminary have shaped the fabric of who I am. And I think we can say that about every time we take a leap of faith and follow God somewhere where God leads us, we will be changed. And that's okay.
That's our seeking other sees.
Mm-hmm.
All right, would you like me to do the next one?
Sure.
Okay, this is the one everybody knows. This is what a friend we have in Jesus.
What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrow share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden? Comfort with the load of care. Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise, forsake you? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In His arms He'll take and shield you. You will find a solace there.
Okay, so this was interesting to me. This is a hymn written by Joseph M. Shriven as a poem in 1855, and he wrote it to comfort his mother who was living in Ireland while he was in Canada. Apparently, she was feeling lonely.
That's interesting.
And so it was written as a poem anonymously, and he only received credit for it in the 1880s.
Oh, wow. So he lived most of his life and nobody knew he did it. Wow, that's interesting. I kind of got hit with the line, have we trials and temptations? You know, we're all going through a very specific trial right now.
Is there sorrow anywhere?
Your version says sorrow, my version says troubled. That's interesting. I'd like to look at the original and see what it actually said. I mean, he was in Canada, so he probably, and he's writing to his mother in Ireland, you said, so this is written in English, yeah.
And I think about how he wrote her this poem because she was feeling lonely. And how many people, especially with this kind of enforced separateness, are feeling lonely.
Please don't take this terribly. I mean, I'm in the house with you and Timmy every day. There's still a loneliness.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
everybody else in our lives has kind of been cut off in a certain way, not in an ultimate way, but in a very significant way that it's different than it was.
Well, I think that kind of feeling is very significant for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think of how Timmy reacted this morning. His daycare did a video so that they could all share how much they missed the kids. And Timmy watched it about 1.5 times through before he was next to me, pleading with me about how much he missed his school and
Yeah.
wanted to go there.
Yep.
But anyway, what a friend we have in Jesus. It is an old favorite. People love it, and they love the message that Jesus is there.
When I used to play music for the nursing home my mom worked at, I used to play this hymn a lot for the residents there. They found it very comforting. And you talk about people who are used to that loneliness that we're kind of feeling now. You know, definitely people who live in those kind of facilities. Yeah.
But now I think it's increased even for them because they are on complete lockdown.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Should we do the last one?
Yep.
So this is not a hymn. This is a song written in the 1970s. So it's about as old as we have come down to the lakeshore. This is Imagine by John Lennon. So I've played this in numerous different ways. I remember playing this at my high school baccalaureate service, which was interesting. Just not that the performance was interesting, although I mean it was okay. I got the rhythm completely wrong in my singing. I played it, a buddy of mine, Joe Turtell, he played it on the guitar because I didn't know how to play guitar then yet. So anyway.
So what did you do? Did you sing it? I mean, you couldn't have played trumpet and sang.
No, I sang it, but I changed the lyrics because I was uncomfortable with the line, and no religion too, because I knew what I was going to do with my life. And I'm like, hey, come on. And even Imagine There's No Heaven, that's challenging. But I mean, now John Lennon, yes, was at best an agnostic. I don't think any of the Beatles really had a faith by the time they were done being the Beatles. But he was using this as a call for unity. Right? I mean, that's what he was using this song for. It was a call for unity and a call for an end to boundaries. And it's really interesting because this song speaks to me in a different way now because we all have a boundary of our front porch,
So let's reflect on it after you sing it, though.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. no need for greed or hunger. The brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
Okay.
I'm rusty on that.
So Imagine is from John Lennon's 1971 album, and it is the best-selling single of his solo career. It encourages the listener to imagine a world at peace without the barriers of borders or the divisions of religion and nationality, to consider that the possibility that the whole world of humanity would live unattached to material possessions.
There's an image that's been passed around through social media, and it's an image of Jesus holding an embodiment of the world. And the world has blue and green skin. There are, like, you can see the continents on the skin of the world, and the world is draped in a dress. It's a woman, and the dress is comprised of all of the flags of all of the nations of the world. And so the whole idea is that we're all being held by the one who created all of this. And so we're all united in our pain, but we're also, in a sense, united by our hope.
Well, and I think especially now we have to be both.
Yeah. And I think that's something we lose track of because, again, our worlds are our living rooms and our bedrooms and our houses and what have you, but this is happening all across the world. This is happening everywhere.
Right. And I have been trying not to consume as much news because it tends to make me...
It tends to make you depressed. I mean, how can it not, right? As every day at around 12:30, I pull up the statistics from the Pennsylvania Department of Health, and you see new cases, and it seems like it's growing and growing, and it feels heavy, and it feels like we're being conquered.
And then we look county by county.
Yep.
But at any rate, today I saw a headline that China is sending ventilators to New York City.
Wow.
And I realized when looking at that the whole world really is in this together. And if we can look outside our boundaries and work outside our boundaries, we can help each other through this. So it's not just the horror of coronavirus that pervades the world, but also the love and care of human beings.
Are you suggesting that maybe God didn't create us to be in constant opposition and competition with each other? You know?
I wouldn't just suggest that, I would say it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
This song is interesting to me because I have never been able to listen to many of the lyrics without that first verse playing in my head. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. It's not.
Well, John Lennon, if you ever look in his life, he had a rough childhood, was a rough person himself, wasn't the greatest father. To his second son, yes, but not to Julian. And you see that brokenness all throughout his life, and I'm wondering if the Church of England that he grew up around, if the church is an institution, this is in the 1950s, if it didn't seem a little heavy, and if it didn't seem a little hard to swallow in the midst of his brokenness.
Well, and I think that we would also have to look at his wife Yoko Ono's history, because she indeed wrote most of these lyrics.
Are you sure about that?
That's what it says on here.
That's really interesting to me. John was married once before to Cynthia. That's who Julian's mother was. I don't know anything about the Beatles, obviously. But he was abusive towards Cynthia.
Shortly
actually.
before his death, Lennon said that much of the song's lyric and content
Came from
his
Yoko.
wife, Yoko
Oh, there you
Ono.
go. So all you Yoko haters out there, there you go. I mean, this is a pretty cool song. And
In 2017, she received a co-writing credit with him.
that's interesting, yeah. I mean, I know that you're not like the Beatles person that I am, but like she is maligned by many Beatles fans and blamed for breaking up the band and all that kind of stuff. But if you actually look at some of her other content, I mean, that's a pretty consistent theme.
But I guess there was another part that jumped out at me this time. I'm
Okay.
trying to find it there.
Do you want the song sheet?
Yes, please. It's not on this sheet.
It's not? Are you talking about Above Us Only Sky?
No.
Okay.
Um,
Everything else is in that sheet.
okay, imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for.
And no religion too. And, that line there, no religion too. I mean, a lot. But go ahead. Just saying, a lot of people have hurt others in the name of religion, even though I'm a religious person.
Was it this one? I hope someday you'll join us.
And the world will live as one.
And the world will be as one. And then imagine all the people sharing in the world. And I guess what I'm thinking here is that for him it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
That the world would live as one and that the world would be as one.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going through now,
We're kind of living it.
not a dream.
Yeah.
Also, not what we would ever
Desire.
desire.
Yeah.
It's scary. The results of this virus are scary.
Mm-hmm.
What it is doing is scary. But God, even though this is a song that leaves God out of it, God is going to be the one that gives us hope, unites us as a world, and helps us to see that we have hope in a future if we can live as one. I don't think that we can find hope in this particular situation without looking toward God and the resurrection of Jesus.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely I can't.
Right. I
But,
mean,
yeah.
imagine there's no heaven.
Yeah.
It's easy if you try, he says, but it's certainly not something I want to imagine now. Wouldn't you only find sorrow and depression
In this world, yeah.
in this world right now? Now, this comes from a pastor.
Sure, right, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
It's who I am, to know God and to
Or to want
trust
to know
God
God, yeah.
and to portray the hope that is found in Christ.
Yeah.
That is what we've been spending these last weeks trying to do.
Through the videos and all the things we've been putting out, yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right, well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching for this week. We'll be back again next week. I just want to note that one of the things that I'm enjoying about these videos is watching as I record it, how big my hands look. Like, I can completely cover my face with my hand there. Look at that right there.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I'd also like to mention that this is Holy Week.
Yes, it
And
is.
so because this is Holy Week and we have to do a lot of services online, look for us on Thursday
And on Friday.
and on Friday.
Also, I do Bible studies on Mondays. I'll do a youth devotion on Wednesday. You'll see all that stuff coming up. I'll post it all over the appropriate Facebook pages and email lists, so it'll be there. All right.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.